I'm really honored that, we've got all this, fancy folk from RWJ, and they do a great job, and we go back a long time. We first class was in a real city, Jersey City. This one, see if you guys are awake. Yeah, whatever, Brick City's out. Can we have a round of applause? We got the big guy here. Seriously. Please. Thank you so much. It's not often we get the big shots out here, but this is a real opportunity, and I just want to say thank you to RWJ Barnabas. RWJ Barnabas is a real commitment to the community, and you did this how many years ago?
2015.
2015, when it was our class that was in Jersey City at the
Bethune Center.
At the Bethune Center, right? And so I'm really grateful. Thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for the guys. That suit should be illegal. But in a special way, I just want to say thank you to Jenny, and I want to say thank you to also Cynthia and Alonzo and the entire NJRC team, but particularly RWJ and Barnabas. But the most important thing, this is about you, right? So this is about giving folks skills to compete in the workforce. So we do CDL, we do HVAC, we do welding, we do Cisco certification. We're just starting a program with Apple, but I think this is really precious. So my mother, God rest her soul, was a nurse, and to be in this business is to be in the healing business and to help alleviate the pain when people are in stress, that people are in dire circumstances. So I just wanted to say thank you, and RWJ Barnabas, and they've always had a great commitment to the community. By the way, just as a matter of principle, they will not hire any Florida Marlin fans, so you can just leave now. But on a serious note, this is a great training opportunity, and I think what the leadership of RWJ Barnabas is about is giving back to the community and allowing the community to be part of it. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of you having faith to be here. And Chantel, can you just share a little bit of what happened in 2015?
Basically, knew nothing about the program, didn't know what EMS, well, I wouldn't say EMS, but I didn't know what entails the duty of an EMT. I was unemployed at the time and went into the unemployment office. They had all these different job listings, and I was like, all right, I'll try it, no big deal. I guess the biggest thing I could say is a part of the program is showing up, right? You have to show up. So you have to make sure your attendance is on point. You have to participate, because there's going to be times when they're going to give you scenarios and they're going to say, you have a 40-year-old woman on the ground, what are you going to do? They put you in the scenario to say, this could be your mom, sister, friend, they're on the ground, what are you going to do? You're going to stand there like this and go, so you have to participate. And thirdly is be involved. So the knowledge that they're giving you doesn't end in the classroom. You have to go home, go on YouTube, look things up, online so you can further your education. Because the class isn't long, it's a short class. It's not like you're in there for a year, 2 years, where it has time to really sink in. You're gonna have to do a little bit of the legwork outside of the classroom. Ultimately, once you're in it, then you'll know if it's for you, right? We are selling something beautiful here. We're like, you're gonna help people out, but you may get into it and it may not be for you, or you might be like, this is amazing. I want to become a paramedic now, or I want to become a nurse, I want to become a doctor. This opens the door for those opportunities, just starting, here. If it's something 2015, I did class, still here. Sometimes I'm active on the road. Right now I work in the office, I do the scheduling and the payroll. So there's so many other things you can do. It's not only emergency medicine within your community, we also work at the Prudential Center. We work at the Cure Center, so where they're doing concerts and sports and things of that nature, you could be there also, But once you get into it, then you will know if it's something for you. It may not be for everyone, or it may be.
So, Chantal, can I just ask you, so the course, what did you learn in the course?
So, first thing, CPR, right?
Yeah.
You see it on TV all the time. Sometimes you see it in your neighborhood when ambulances arrive. CPR is the main aspect of being an emergency responder, right? You learn normal things. You learn empathy, sympathy for people. It's not always medicine. You may have an elderly person that calls you and they're like, I couldn't get up to turn my stove on or turn it off. That's also being an emergency medical responder, just
And
doing
so
things simple as that.
so when you think of a responder, it's having a sense of compassion,
Right.
it's having to knowing CPR, but you also have to have a basic understanding of the physiology of the body.
Absolutely.
So
That's
can you describe a little bit about what that coursework would entail from your perspective? What did you learn when you came in to the Bethune Center back in 2015 and you said, like, what am I doing here? What did you learn? And so much of it you may take for granted now.
right.
So what can you just share with our guys and gals here north? What did you learn?
So the anatomy of the body is difficult, right? Because each part of your body has a function. So you see your heart, you're like, okay, it pumps, but you also have to know what makes it pump. Like what route is the blood going through? What else is it connected to? So some people have heart attacks. It's not only that, did it lead from respiratory or other things of that nature? That's why I said outside of class, you have to do your own research because in class, it's going to go really quickly. They're going to say the heart does this, boop, boop, boop. You're going to take a test. And in that moment, you're like, oh, all right, cool. But then, did I really understand exactly what they were talking about? You have to go home, do your research, so you understand.
And if I could jump in, and RWJ Barnabas has a phenomenal educational program. So what I love about their program is continuing education so that Chantel can continue to improve and learn and what they call stack credentials. And so, one of the great strengths of coming into this program, if you're accepted and you get through the program, the only limitation you have is the limitation you place on yourself. So that you can and you can continue to learn and learn and learn so that at the end of the day, you have unlimited access to education, both academically and hands-on. And that's one thing that I think is really exceptional about RWJ Barnabas, because not everybody has that capacity to continue to learn, and you're invited, and it's free. So ultimately, at the end of the day, and the courses are staggered so that they recognize work schedules, but you can take as many courses as you want. There's a question back.
That was for Chantel. I was wondering, you're speaking about the anatomy and the respiratory and the parts of the anatomy that we deal with. You took the course. Is it layman's terms? Is it simplified? Because that would be a problem. So you can read, but is it simplified so that we can get a clear understanding? Because that would become at some point boring.
Right. So, no, right?
But to jump in on that, she's talking about EMT.
Yeah.
When we're talking about EMR, which is the step below EMT, it is more simplified. And that's why we really want people to go through the EMR program first. Because it's going to set you that basis for you. And like I said before, everything you learn in EMR is just a building block to getting you into EMT. So you will learn some of that basic material that you need in a more layman's terms to take you towards that step in EMT, which is the more medical term.
And that's what I just wanted to pick up. Thank you, because when we discussed with Steve and RWJ, part of this was, I know what a heart is. The whole goal is to walk people in, right? So to reduce the anxiety, to reduce any concern, but to walk people in. So we deliberately did it in this way. And I went, by the way, Steve went out and got a new suit for today. But we did it deliberately this way. So it was that you'd be introduced to terms, you'd be introduced to functions, and so that you would build up your confidence. But what Chantel said is true, is that then you could go on to EMT, then you could go on to this course, and greater professionalization. So, great.
Yes, don't be intimidated by that. All right?
I think that was a really honest
walk you
question.
through.
Thank you.
Yes, it was a good point. I'm sure a lot of other people had that idea.
Including me.
Right. Do we get I might have not was paying attention, but I don't recall hearing if we get like a certification of completion.
Yes. Oh, sure. And that's a really good point, because RWJ Barnabas, you not only get certification from RWJ Barnabas, but depending on the course, and there are different courses, Some courses provide state certification,
Right.
some courses provide State Department of Health certification, so it's based on the
So,
level of complexity and the level of gradation. But the point is, to go back to Chantel's point, you become in the RWJ Barnabas education track, and that's what I think is so important. I mean, if, like, we can help guys from Jersey City in the back, you know, we can help him, any, you guys.
but the first thing you'll get is a CPR certification from the American Heart Association. After that, you take the EMR course. And who's issuing these certifications? ASHI, the American Safety and Health Institute.
And that's a
But-
national,
That's national.
so that's national, so theoretically, thanks Steve, so when you get, whatever. When you get the CPR, right, so then the other thing is that these are transferable skills, right? These are transferable skills and these are transferable certifications. So you get CPR, but then all of a sudden, if you get the EMR and you get that, that's a nationally certified. So at the end of the day, if you're at RWJ Barnabas and then you decide,
To move to Florida.
God forbid, I don't know if there are any Democrats. No, but if you move to Florida, no, say for example, or you move to Pennsy, this is a national certification so that you can have this. So what I'm really grateful to and what we do at the training center is, when we do our courses on CDL, HVAC, we try to always give a national or state Department of Labor certification. But what's so good about Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas is the healthcare certification is within the industry. So God forbid, or like if you needed to move to another state and you have the certification, that's transferable. So you have a portable certification, which is why it's so important. Great question. But I mean, so like anything, like, I remember going back, lawyering after I left governor's office, I went back to seminary, right? And all these kids with these, like, she's filming me, so I'm gonna clean up my act. MFing like computers, and I'm like, I couldn't do that shit. I was like riding along and like, I'm never gonna be able to survive this. But you get through, right? You get through it. You got people around here who care about you, people around here who want you to succeed, and you get through. And I love what you said. The EMR is the basic course. So the EMR is the basic course. All I would ask people to do is to apply. If you think in your heart and soul that's for you, get through that course and then go on for the EMT. And I'm telling you, they're here, right? Like, they're here. They're walking the walk. They're just not talking. So I just want to say thank you.
Job placement after, or do we owe like hours to anybody?
You mean clinical hours? Great question.
So at EMR level, you don't have the clinical hours. At EMT level,
You do.
there are clinical hours that you put into the hospital as part of getting your certification. What RWJ is doing is part of that tiered approach to all of this is on time, which is partly part of RWJ, but they're a little separate as well. You make it through EMR, and because now the state of New Jersey has said that we recognize EMR, you can then get a job with on time. While you're working with on time, if you then want to go into EMT, you already have had some of that on the road experience
You're
that
right.
gets you kind of having a clue as to what's going on next.
So that's really important. That's really, really important. Because what happens is, like, we do peer recovery coaching that has clinical hours. We do phlebotomy that has clinical hours. But what's important here is on the EMR, no clinical hours. You can apply for on time, but then during the course of that, stack the credential for the EMT. So I'm really, I keep saying this, but I'm really grateful for RWJ Barnabas and Lonnie, because what this means is that you can begin stacking your credentials, right? So then you can go to on EMT, but you gotta kick ass, you gotta study, you gotta perform, you gotta show up, you gotta do, right? And then if you do it, your whole career will be before you, But like I tell the young guys, like, if you gotta show up at 8 o'clock, that's being there at 7:55, not 8:15, 8:20. Like, you gotta be on time. Because if somebody's life is in danger, you gotta be on the spot. So, like, you gotta abide by RWJ rules, not your rules, right? This is about saving people's lives and saving people's health, right? So it's our behaviors have got to be honorable and have got to be accountable because we're accountable for other folks. So this is really, serious. This is no disrespect, but this isn't like working in a clothing store. This is a higher level of mission. This is a higher level of calling. For me, for people I've watched it, this is ministry, right? You're saving some elderly person. You're helping somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother or sister. An addiction crisis and an overdose crisis that you've got to be aware. So I mean, your whole life can be projected help in a good way. So it's a great question, though, on the clinical
And
hours.
all of you have your strengths, all right? So you all have something to bring to this, which is really important. So some people are gonna say, well, I don't like blood, I don't like vomit. I'm a sympathy vomiter. I hate to break that, I'm a sympathy vomiter. But you know what? We work with other people, we work together as a team. And if I've got vomit going everywhere, I might push somebody else in there. Whereas if there's blood everywhere, I'll handle it, okay? I mean, my stomach's gotten stronger since kids, but just to put that out there. Some people say, oh, I can't do this because I can't stand blood. It's okay. When you know what to do and you bring those strengths to the table, you will know what to do and you will be all right.
Good.
I got another one.
One last question. This is the pain in the blank seat.
Pia is called.
Oh, thank you. I know.
She got a good t-shirt on there.
Yeah, but she's got great questions.
Well, I'm in the field, so you know what I'm saying. It just pops in my head. This is probably off the subject, and I'm just curious. Is there any way around it without doing EMR? Because I already know I want to do EMT. I was going to volunteer because they'll pay for you to go. I'm in the field already, so I know.
No, you gotta find. We're gonna do it by the book.
I'm gonna.
Well,
be a
so
pain in the
here's
ass.
the thing. We have a lot of, and it's sometimes it tends to be some of the high school students, not to categorize anyone, but we have a lot of students that walk into EMT
Yeah.
thinking, I can do this, no problem. Okay, come in and they don't make it through the course, and
Yeah.
because of the way the laws are written in the state of New Jersey, if they fail 2 tests in a row.
You're
On the
out.
same test, they're out, okay? And there's nothing we can do about that. I've been pushing EMR for a while. But my point with EMR is this. It's a good introduction. It gives you the basis. Like I said before, what you learn in EMR is going to carry you through to EMT. So you're going to have that basis. You're going to learn that terminology. You're going to learn it in plain English with getting some of the basis. But it's going to really give you that advantage so that when you walk into EMT, and you're not going to double fail, hopefully. And you're gonna make it through. It's gonna give you that basis, so you know what you're getting yourself into. All right?
Yeah, and I just want to pick up what Ann said. The whole goal is to maximize success and to lay a good foundation, right? And so we're moving as a team, we're moving as a family, the NJRC, and so I just appreciate what Ann said, but so if you have EMR, then you're going to be moving into a healthier, stronger place of success. And that's what we want to do. I mean, we do all sorts of courses, but I also try to make sure that the courses are at a place where people will succeed. Some of our courses are longer, like our welding course. It's 8-9 months, right? Some of our courses are CDL or Cisco certification, or now we're about to do Apple. We broke it up into 2 sections. Our point is not to have you go in there and walk away. Our point is we want to hold your hand and get you to the promised land. But candidly, when we had this conversation, we said we're not going to, we're going to ignore the PIA and we're going to do it Ann's way with the EMR first, so to maximize success. Because candidly, I would have, if I were sitting there, I'd have the same concerns you just had. Because, and I think we also learned, Steve, from when we did it in Jersey City. And so the whole goal is we want everybody who really wants to do this to get there and to pass.
And this will get you out on the streets with patients sooner. So you get your EMR, and the on-time people will talk in a second about what that means, what you're going to be doing. But it'll get you out there, and then once you have that patient experience, EMT becomes much easier.